Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are live back on the DST Show tonight. We're going to go over some NFL news. Of course, we already had leaks for what's going to be happening for the 2022-2023, 2023-2024 regular season. We still got to get the taste of 2022 out of our mouth so we can head to what's next on the chopping block. Of course, February 18th, we of course have the start of the XFL season returning since the 2020 year. Of course, fall to the breakout of that virus that shall not be named, of course, caused a lot of controversy and financial loss. Of course, a lot of athletes lost their job. The USFL will be returning with a new football team, and technically a return, over the Tampa Bay Bandits taking a temporary leave of absence so we can actually even out the playing field of teams. So, for a replacement for the Tampa Bay Bandits, we now have the Memphis Steamboats. That was previously a USFL team back in the 80s. And also a retread of the Pittsburgh Maulers. Of course, if you didn't know their color scheme, it was purple and orange. Now it's black and gold. Like if you ever seen any other team in Pittsburgh, you got the Pittsburgh Penguins, of course the Pittsburgh Pirates, Steelers. So just recognizable from a Teague, except of course the Philadelphia teams that either go red, white, and blue with their own colorway. But besides that, we got some more NFL news. Of course, for the Buffalo Bills, after underwhelming showing in the divisional round against the Cincinnati Bengals, falling out at home in a tough double-digit deficit, getting outplayed by the Bengals. Jamison Crowder and Cole Beasley are willing to stay an additional year while controversy over Stephon Diggs is still off the rise after leaving the locker room after the rest of the team. And the Bills already have the 7th highest strength of schedule in the NFL. And that's only behind the New York Jets, the Dallas Cowboys, the New England Patriots, the New York Giants, and as well as the Miami Dolphins, and possibly could be NFC 2023 champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, that fall at the hardest strength of schedule coming out of this season, with the weakest coming out of the Atlanta Falcons. So, not only will the Bills be getting the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants that were part of the most competitive division over the previous season, they'll be facing off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New York Jets that have possibly had the best defense out of the AFC East, the Jacksonville Jaguars has been the come up. Don't forget, they'll be having road games against Chargers, Chiefs, Eagles, Commanders that closed out being a competitive team. Dolphins that will possibly be in full strength next season. And the New York Jets again. And around at least half of the division, even having like half of their road schedule being against divisional leaders out of the Eagles, Bengals, and Chiefs. A majority been playoff bound over the past 2 seasons except the New York Jets. So just know Bills got to prove a lot of teams wrong, because this season possibly, out of the 2022-2023 season, that was possibly their biggest chance of trying to make it over to the Lombardi. And yet here they are again, pissing down their leg and crapping the bed again so they can fall up short and need to try again next season, depending on if they can keep the same consistency. Also, in the Dallas Cowboys side of things, of course, let's pour down one for the Cowboys' Super Bowl hopes. I had to pour it down. Of course, currently, Dan Campbell, formerly head coach for the Atlanta Falcons, has been offensive coordinator, somehow lost his job, is returning for the Dallas Cowboys. While Kellen Moore has been interested in trying to get out of the market, trying to find a head coaching job after Frank Reich previously got fired around the latter half of the season over a terrible year for the Indianapolis Colts, is now the head coach for the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. And over the Carolina Panthers, there's still somewhat of potential off their offense. Seeing how they're coming out of the era of Ron Rivera, and coaching hires been a struggle for the Carolina Panthers. Getting a recognizable head coach like Frank Reich could be good for the right direction for them, because I heard he actually has a history with getting along with young players. And over Jeff Saturday's career, there's something yet to be desired, especially over what the Cowboys are trying to do to get themselves over the right direction. We need to know what's going to happen with Tony Pollard. We know that he suffered a bit of an ankle injury around the latter half of the game in the second quarter against the 49ers. If Dak Prescott's still possibly going to be in the team, will they be trying to draft a new quarterback? What's going to happen to a majority of the defense after some hiccups around the secondary from the previous season? Cowboys have a lot going for them heading over to this offseason because over the past 2 years, they've been at least somewhat around NFC title bound over the past several seasons. And it's been 7 seasons since their rookie quarterback and now 7-year-old, all-pro starter that's been in the hiccups of just playing like a better Jameis Winston. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, of course, if NFL Honors is going to be, I think, tomorrow. No, it's going to be around February 9th, so I guess around the Super Bowl. If any of you guys are curious for who's going to win Man of the Year, who's going to win Walter Payton of the Year. I think we also have a new award. We have Best QB. Thank God. Of course, the nominees for most valuable player is going to be either Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, or Patrick Mahomes. And still, majority is quarterback positions. So why isn't there just a best quarterback award if the quarterback is obviously the most important position? If they want to push over best receiver, best offensive player of the year, best O-lineman of the year, best offensive lineman of the year, best defense of the year. And bring over team awards to bring over that this is a team effort. This isn't like the NBA where you can push over positional awards to almost any position in the NBA. Literally, as well as anybody is aware, like for the NBA, predominantly a lot of forwards or wings win Defensive Player of the Year until point guard Marcus Smart for the Boston Celtics won one, and that's a rarity that even happens for the NBA. So please, we need more positional awards for the honors. Awards. Crap. Like, please. I'm begging you. Nick Bosa's obviously going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year is possibly going to go to Justin Jefferson or Tyreek Hill. I think it's going to be more preference to Justin Jefferson, markability-wise, and how he was more effective on the offense. Brock Purdy, Offensive Rookie of the Year, over Kenneth Walker. That's been a primarily more, consistent. Purdy has been a lot more consistent than Garoppolo. Been a major contributor to how the Niners even came up to being possibly fringe bottom or second best into the NFC West, into like being now division leaders and making it one more game closer to the Super Bowl. So that could be Purdy. Sauce Gardner's going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year, no problem. Aiden Hutchinson had a slow start over being more effective over to the offense. Comeback of the year, Saquon Barkley is without a shadow of doubt, even though I feel like it goes to Christian McCaffrey out of having production that as soon as he went to the Niners, he became an offensive impact while Saquon kind of slowed down in the second half of the season. So in my opinion, McCarthy got to win that Coach of the Year. I got to say Brian Doble. He's been amazing. Or Doug Peterson. But I feel like Brian Doble, because he just made such a bigger impact for the Giants, came out of just mediocrity into like a playoff-bound, defensively focused team that has a lot of potential over the next season. Just find a competent receiving core, fix on that front seven, add some more depth over that secondary, and get some help for Saquon. And possibly we could be seeing a lot more of the Giants that was back in the day from the late 2010 to late 2000s to early 2010s. And there's now an assistant head coach of the year that goes to Ben Johnson, Miko Ryan, defensive coordinator for the 49ers, and of course Sean Steinick. Of course, that's going to go to possibly D'Amico Ryan, seeing how the Niners defense has been untouchable without even blitzing. So, yeah. Some crazy headlines heading over to the season. We even have our NBA All-Star starters heading over for the Eastern Conference and Western Conference. And I gotta say, I'm very excited. Even Jason Tatum made it over as a starter while Bam Adebayo is a reserve. I'm fine with that. I think we also got Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Trae Young's gonna be a reserve, so he's not even starting. and we're gonna be in Utah, and that's gonna be around. I think after the deadline. So for the starters for the Eastern Conference, it's gonna be Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Donovan Mitchell. That's been on fire, and Jason Tatum. While Western Conference polls over the starters have been Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic. That's been the MVP showrunner, in my opinion. He's been more impressive than Jason Tatum. Tatum's just in a bitter lockdown team, while Luka is just anytime it's just Luka magic whenever he performs. Nikola Jokic, that's also possibly in the running for MVP, and Zion Williamson. So we're seeing a lot of good depth. Possibly going to be a good showcase. I just wish they had if they added a bit more rules like style points, a 4-point line, trying to make it a bit larger, trying to do risky plays and get more of the fans' reaction into it, or do a requirement from the fan polls for extra points, or do a 1v1 for foul calls. Something to add more drama into scoring to make the All-Star game more presentable than just a basic 5v5 rotation of everybody going half speed so nobody ends up injuring each other. I think Anthony Davis is also in the reserves, even though he missed a major part of the past month and a half of basketball after ruining his leg, and he nearly did against the San Antonio Spurs the previous week. The previous game they played. So, pick a side, guys. I'm just saying. And I already saw three guys that are Golden State Warriors that are rotation pieces. I get it; they are major contributors, but they're not really highlighted showrunners to put over to the Western Conference, especially out of Jordan Clarkson that's been playing out of his mind. Possibly we can put Jordan Poole there. Kevon Looney deserves it. Uh, Obviously, Domantas Sabonis. We also are going to see Tyrese Halliburton, a lot of young players that are possibly going to be major showrunners coming over to the postseason. Besides that, I'm going to make this a bit of a brief little podcast. I'm going to go a bit longer, guys, but I got a lot more stuff to be doing around this week. But I'll make sure to get this one out as soon as around Saturday. Thanks for watching the DST Show. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to hear more. And if you want to get more of this a bit elongated format than when I did my wrestling reviews, you can like, comment, subscribe, and try to bring that up so we can garner more viewership. So I can keep doing this a lot more consistently. Thanks for watching.